Yeah, what's going on, cunts? Welcome back. Some of you asked for a Wisp build, ask and ye shall receive. So today we're going to take a look at Wisp, my build for Wisp, and how I use her. Wisp is easily a top 5 frame for me. She is amazing for what I use her for. She's super cool. She's quite unique in a sense that no one else sort of does what she does. And she's very powerful. Just headbutted the mic. So the abilities, we'll talk over them first, and I'll go through the builds, and we'll go from there. So her passive, floating between dimensions, Wisp becomes invisible to enemies while in the air. So if you spam jump, you're going to stay invisible. It's actually quite a good way to get through like capture missions and stuff like that. If you're worried about getting shot, you just keep jumping, and you will you'll be invisible the whole time, and you can't get shot. It's actually a good way to get out of dying as well. If you're weak, you shoot an enemy and you've got to reload, just jump around the room or whatever, reload your weapon, and then go back into it. Let your reservoirs, which we'll get onto in a minute, give you some health back so you feel a bit better. Jump into it. It's pretty good. And that first ability is called Reservoirs. Choose a summon a reservoir filled with motes to attach and aid Wisp and her allies. Haste mote grants increased movement and attack speed. Vitality mote increases maximum health and heals over time. Shock mote stuns nearby enemies. So her first mote is Vitality. It gives you extra health and then healing per second. So let's say your character has 500 health. Well, my vitalities on the build I use will give you 945 extra health on top of that, so you then have 1445 HP. And if you start taking damage, it will heal 94.5 health per second. It sounds super busted. It is in the early game. Once the enemies start doing some damage, it's not as strong as it sounds. But Wisp is one of the best team buffing frames in the game, and for those of you that know me, you know I love my support frames, and Wisp is very supportive. So she works well on her own, she works well in a team, she does it all very well. Next one is Haste Mote. That gives you speed multiplier, is movement speed, so you move 63% faster, and it gives you fire rate. My build gives you 94% more fire rate. And we'll get onto the numbers and stuff like that in a second, because I actually use growing power in this build. And the last mote is Shock Mote. 100% chance to shock enemies. Basically it stuns them and they're locked into position and can't move for however long it lasts for. Also very effective. I can hear someone open the doors. Shock Mote's really good for things like defense. If you find that you're struggling and all the enemies are getting close, or maybe the defense objective's taking too much damage, if you chuck down your Shock Mote, you start stunning everything around that. Makes it gives you more time to take them out, which gives a chance to for the defense thing to regen health. I don't use Shock Mote on survivals because it slows down. Obviously in survivals you want all the enemies coming to you super quick because you want to get all that life support. But for defense, yeah, it's super good for keeping enemies locked into place and making it easier, basically. So, yeah. Second ability, Will-O-Wisp. Cast forward a spectral image of Wisp to confuse and distract enemies. Reactivate to travel to its position. Hold to have the image travel faster and teleport to its position on release. So, it summons like a hologram thing that floats. And if you push the button again, you'll teleport to wherever that is. So you might have it 5 foot in front. You press it again, you'll teleport to where it is. It's a nice little get out of jail free card, maybe if you think that you're weak but you want to try and challenge anyway. If you you summon that ability, go to take out the enemy, and you find that you can't take out that enemy, you just teleport to where the Wisp is, get your health back, try again. It's a nice little get. And on top of the jump in, which gives you invisibility as well, she is super maneuverable. Yeah, she's very powerful. Yeah, I can't say any more than that. Third ability, Breach Surge. Open a dimensional breach to overwhelm nearby enemies and cause them to release aggressive surge sparks. Surge sparks, which, when damaged... Wait, what? Am I reading this wrong? Open a dimensional breach to overwhelm nearby enemies and cause them to release aggressive surge sparks when damaged. Right. Wisp may also target a reservoir to teleport to it and double the range of the surge. So, if you use Will-O-Wisp, all these abilities come together, basically. They all work with each other in a sense. So I'll get onto that afterwards. Breach Surge is amazing. It's a good form of crowd control. Makes you deal more damage to them, and also it releases these sparks. So every so often, like these sparks will come out of their heads and they'll go and attack other people in the radius. I think it's only ever people that have been affected by this. So say there's two enemies that are both breach surged, I guess you could call it. They'll both be not attacking each other, but these sparks will be coming out of one and hitting the other one, and then one will be coming out of that one and hitting the other one, and it's just a nice form of crowd control and damage. Very early game, that does a lot of damage. Yeah, it's very, very good. It's a great form of crowd control, because the enemies, not only do they get stunned, but you also do more damage to them, and they're also dealing damage to each other as well because of the sparks. So it's very, very powerful. I'm sure I'll chuck something up here actually. I'll go into the test room in a minute and I'll show you how it works. And then the last ability here, ultimate Soul Gate. Open a portal to the sun to irradiate enemies with a devastating beam of pure solar plasma. Hold fire to double damage at the cost of increased energy consumption. For the duration of the attack, enemies damaged by Soul Gate are increasingly more vulnerable to it. So it does more damage to them over time. It's like the Furious effect from Fallout. So I think this is the one that caused a lot of confusion when it first came out as to whether it was actually good or bad. I think it's good enough. You know, 155 heavy gunners, it's not going to melt them. It will kill them, but it does take a time, just like every other ability from every other frame. So early game stuff is very good. The build I use, how I play Wisp, I don't really use this, nor do I use Will-O-Wisp personally, but Breach Surge and Reservoirs are the things that I count on the most, because I play Wisp for support. So yeah, tips and stuff, you guys can get onto that in your own time. So we'll go over to the builds. This is the main build I use. As you can see, 4 former. It's as good as it gets with what I'm trying to use. Not all the mods are maxed, obviously, because I mean, for Wisp I could, but for frames like I have an Umbral Frost, which I can get into another time. Frost is my favourite frame. To get every mod in with Steel Charge as the aura and no Umbral Former, I have to have these mods exactly the way they are. So that's why they're like that, but still, they're more than capable of everything. So my aura, I use Growing Power. Applying status effects with weapons increases ability strength by 25%. So if you don't cast any of your motes or anything like that, you go and deal some damage, apply some status or whatever, you get that Growing Power buff, then you use your motes. I believe I get up to like over 1000 HP. It's crazy. It's so powerful. So again, I'll go into the test room after I've shown you the build, and I'll talk you through everything that happens. Yeah, this is sort of a survival build, I suppose you can call it, because I really only use this build in survival and defense. But I don't use it for any of the other abilities other than Reservoirs and Breach Surge if I need it. So yeah, that's why I've got low efficiency and tons of strength for max buffs. So my Exos mod is Power Drift. That's mainly for the extra strength. You can drop Power Drift and Streamline and put in Umbral. Can you? Or have I fucked this bit up? I don't think you can. If you haven't maxed them out, you can put in another Umbral mod. I used to use all Umbral mods, but you get more strength not using them. But you get more strength numbers. I believe with these you get 311%? I'm not sure. But yeah. That's what I use anyway. And the chance to resist knockdown's quite helpful. You know, it doesn't proc all the time, but that one time it does, you notice it. So that's why I put that there. Blind Rage for strength, obviously. Efficiency isn't that big of an issue, because again, I'm not spamming abilities, I'm just using a few. Transient Fortitude for strength. Again, duration isn't a big deal for me. I don't really use duration that much, because like I said, it's more of a campy build, so I'm not running around worrying about duration and stuff like that. Streamline, I have to use the flawed version, because obviously I don't have the space for anything else, unless I form it again. So I need to form her again to put in the full one, but I'm not doing that at the minute because it's not necessary really. That's just sort of a, I had the points, so I'll just put that in there. Gladiator Resolve for more health. Really, you chuck on whatever you want there if you're going to use this build. I just wanted some more HP, just to give me even more when I use my my reservoirs. It's yeah, it's up to you what you put there. You chuck on what you want. If you feel like you need some more energy, put on flow. Obviously, you're gonna have to form it differently. If you want some more armor, do your thing. August Secrets for strength. Adaptation to make me a bit more tankier. Obviously, if I'm getting constant health regens, not only is my health getting doubled, I'm getting, you know, I'm getting increased resistance to all the damage I'm getting. It's very, very powerful. It adds up. Like I said, you get 90% resistance to everything. Constant health regens, you become very, very tanky. And then Umbral Intensify and Umbral Vitality. Obviously, the more Umbral mods, the more powerful said Umbral mods are, and Strength and Vitality are a lot better than Fiber, in my opinion. If you want some more armor, by all means use Umbral Fiber. You will get 415 armor, but I would much rather have more health there. So as you can see, without the growing power buff, 945 max health added onto yours, 94.5 health per second, 63% speed multiplier, so you move 63% faster, and 94% fire rate. And then like that, I get 6.3 times damage multiplier, 63% status, and my ult does 4,725 damage per second. So yeah, that's my Wisp build. I use Arcane Energize to top off teammates, and Arcane Guardian for armor. Arcane's really, you chuck on what you want, but that gives me extra armor when I get damaged. And you know, you're constantly getting damaged in this, so 600 armor, it adds up. If you want to chuck on, is it Grace? What have we got? I mean, you can put Rage on. Rage is super powerful. You don't want shield recharge. Rage, yeah, super powerful. Where are you? You don't want Barret. Grace. If I could max out my Arcane Grace, I'm going to get round to that eventually. We're going to have to go and grind some more of the Scarlet Spear before it goes to get max ranks on Grace. Yeah, really, you chuck on whatever you're comfortable using. I just like having the extra armor as an option, as I haven't got any other arcanes that are maxed out at the minute, giving me max buffs or whatever. That's what I use there. So that's my go-to build. If I'm going to play Wisp, that's what I'm going to use. That's how I like her. She's very, very suited to my playstyle. That build is specifically set to my playstyle. If you want to use it, go for it. If you're forward the same way as that, go for it. If you find that you need some more space, put on Steel Charge in the aura instead of Growing Power, but I find that that extra strength is super powerful. I've got a sneeze that's stuck in it. It's not going to come out. But yeah, anyways, build number 2. This is an Umbral build. I've only dropped Streamline and put in all the Umbral mods, but as you can see, I only have 311% power strength, so it's not a massive difference. As you can see, 933 health. You know, you don't lose out very much, and you get a bit more HP and armor. So this is probably a tankier build, because you're getting more armor and HP from the Umbral sets added up, and on top of all your armor as well. Might make you a little bit tankier, but obviously you lose the growing power, which gives you a bit less strength. But it works. It's very, very tanky. Wisp is tanky on herself, but that just gives you a little bit more HP and armor. And again, arcanes really aren't important. And lastly, a build without the Umbral mods, for those of you that don't have them yet. This is really as good as I can get it without using them. Personally, I'm at a point where I've got the Umbral mods, so I'm going to use them. But for those of you that don't have them yet, this is just something I chucked together last thing. With the former polarities that I've got and things like that, you can really chuck on whatever you want there. You get a little bit more duration, so you can probably use this to run around for a bit longer. So yeah, these last for 40 seconds, and this blinds for 21 as opposed to 24 seconds and 12 seconds stun. So yeah, it's noticeable, definitely, but you're very, very, well, I suppose not. You lose a bit of strength and you lose some health, but yeah, that's what I chucked together last thing anyway. So if you guys don't have the Umbral mod yet and you want to run that, give it a go, let me know. If it works for you. Now I'm going to run over to the test room quick and just talk over some last things before we close off. Okay, so now we're in the test room super quick. I know I've not done this on the previous videos, but I figured as we're here, we might as well. And I might talk you through a little things. So, firstly, I've got a companion with me. Got my cat. Do the motes work on the cat? Yes. So, if you've got your motes out, your cat is going to get the set amount of bonus HP as well. Yeah, so that's super cool. I don't know if it gives him the health regen. I'm not sure. I'll test that in a second, but I just want to show you what the max HP I get out of growing power is as well. 102 and 68%. So, come on, hurry up. That's not going to show me now. As you can see, with growing power, I get 100, so that's 1000, and I'm going to guess 20 HP, and then I get 68% bonus fire rate on top of. So yeah, it's incredibly powerful. You know, if you've got very slow firing weapons, like I noticed that I've now made a build on the Quelor, which has very, very slow fire rate. But if I drop Vile Precision, which is what I was using, I can run Wisp with it now. With one heavy gunner, how much can I tank? So yeah, the cat doesn't get it by the looks of it, because he just died insanely quick and I didn't see his health jumping up that much. But I would have died if I'd have just stood still, but obviously if I spawn in, I'll show you how I play Wisp if I know there's a crowd of people. So let's get some energy. Let's spawn in 8 of these big cunts and I'll show you. Let's put in 8. Alright, so if I just jumped into the middle of these, yeah, I'd get absolutely shredded. But I breach surged them all. They're all stunned now. They're not going to shoot me. As you can see, those sparks are the ones going around. They're the ones that do extra damage as well. See, that slow duration makes it a bit not last as long as my last build. Yeah, they have no idea where they are. It's like a night out. You have no clue where you are. So yeah, it's very, very powerful. She's got incredible movement speed. As you can see, I can just teleport wherever I want to teleport. Whoa, no one knows where I am. Yeah. See, if I target one of these reservoirs when I use my my surge, it actually teleports me to the reservoir, and then that surge gets increased range. Not sure if it doubles it, but it does look very big. So yeah, that's some little facts and things like that. So yeah, there you guys go. Hope you guys did enjoy that. That's a bit more of an in-depth look. I mean, I've done Vauban and Mesa now. I didn't really go as in-depth, but Wisp, like I said, she's a top 5 for me. I do know quite a lot about Wisp, and I really enjoy her. She looks super cool. She plays super cool. She's very much a frame of my playstyle. You know, she's not focused on herself as much. She can make you tanky as shit. She can give your teammates super speed weapons. She can give you super speed. She can buff companions. I love Wisp. If you've not got her yet, go out and get her. She's is it a Ropalolist, however you pronounce that fucking guy. She's from him, or you buy her if you've not yet. Yeah, I love her. She is super cool. So yeah, there you guys go. If you guys did enjoy it, leave a like, dislike if you did for whatever reason. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you think different. Maybe Wisp is not your style and you prefer damage dealers as opposed to supports. There are definitely other ways to build Wisp. If you want to build her for damage, for a ult and things like that, go for it. That's not how I play her. That's not how I see her. So I'm not even going to try and talk you through that because I don't know how to do that. But that's not how I play her. So yeah, comment section is always open. Let me know how you feel. Maybe you like Wisp, maybe you dislike Wisp. Completely up to you. It's a preference thing. Yeah, any suggestions, requests, questions, whatever, leave them down below. I actually have a Discord, for those of you that don't know, and you're active viewers or whatever, and you want a different way to talk. I've had a few people join it today, and yeah, the link was broken on the videos, which I was very much not aware of. I set up the link to expire after a day, so that's great. Fun. But it's been fixed now, so that link does take you straight to the channel. You can just join it. There's no requests or whatever. And yeah, it's awesome. So subscribe if you're new around here. Send that Discord and whatever. Link in description. And it's been Acid. I'll see you in the next one.